single line, any single line if I consider, right? So are 1 and 2 be possible to be on a single line? Are they linear? Point 1 and 2. Are point 1 and 3 linear? Are point 1 and 4 linear? Are point 134 linear? Are point 1234 linear? That can be your answer. How will you identify? If a single line passes through 2 points, then uh, they can be linear. If 4 points are there, if single line passes through them, then it is said to be linear points. All 4 points are linear, right? So, do you think that point 1 and point 2 are having a common line which is passing through them? Point 1 and point 2, how will you see point 1? Okay, so what is the significance? I can tell you. Yes, Priyal, your answer is we should learn about it. Let us see what is the meaning of this. If I take point 1, where is point 1? Somewhere I am assuming that my point is somewhere here. I am assuming my point 1 is somewhere here, right? Then I will see what I will consider all the points on this line. So I am considering, uh, uh, okay, so I am considering, say this, I am starting with this. I need to take some other color so it will be one clear. Okay, so I am considering this point on this. What is the meaning of this? That if this is the slope and this is the intercept, I am considering the value A1 and B1. What is the meaning of that? This point 1 has a line passing through it whose slope is A1 and intercept is B1. That is the meaning. Same way if I will go for the next point, right? So what will happen? That here suppose the value is A2 and this is the value B2, right? So I will consider, okay, so there is a line whose slope is A2 and intercept is B2 is passing through a point 1. Why? Because it was the curve for point 1, right? Same way, whenever I will come here, then what I will consider, okay, there is a slope A3 and intercept B3. There is a line, which is having, suppose this is that line. Of course, my line equation is not, I mean, line drawing is not good. This is not even tolerable. But I hope you can understand what my point is. Uh, okay, so I'm using another color for this line specifically. The reason you will understand soon. Pardon me for my linear drawing. That's fine. You will understand. This is the equation of a line. Assume that this is line. Okay, what is that? It is a line with slope A3 and B3. That is the meaning. What is why? Why it is true? Because this is the curve for point 1. That means all these points having the particular slope and intercept, those lines are passing through point 1. That is the meaning, right? Same exercise we will repeat for point 2. That same exercise we are repeating for point 2, right? So in that way, what we will have, suppose this slope and this intercept, this slope and this intercept. In that way, I can find out all the lines that are passing through, um, uh, all those lines that are passing through point 2, right? Okay, same way if I will do for point 3. Okay, so so what will be for point 3? For point 3 we can do specifically. We can do specifically for point 3. So I will, for suppose I'm taking for point 3, I'm starting with this intercept and this slope. Suppose it is point 3 somewhere here, right? So this slope and this intercept, whatever it is, suppose it is lying with this slope and intercept. Same way, if I'm going for this particular slope and this particular intercept, that line is suppose this. Okay. Same way when I will reach here, that means with the slope A3 and intercept B3 is passing through point 3. That is the meaning. In that way, if I will do this, all if I will complete, then here if I will reach, then what is the meaning? With the slope A3 and intercept B3, there is a line which passing through point 3 as well, and that is this line. That means it is extending like this. It is passing through point 3 as well. What is the meaning of that? Because these two curve intersect, there is a common line which passes through point 1 and point 3, and its slope value is A3 and intercept value is B3. That means point 1 and 3 are linear because there is a common line with slope A3 and B3 which passes through there. I hope it is clear now, right? So now my question is, what about point 1 and 2? Are they linear? Point 1 and 2, are they linear? Okay, point 1 and 3, are they linear? Are you clear about it? 1 and 3 are linear? Point 1 and 3 are linear? Okay, 2 points will always be linear, that I agree with you, but okay, that I agree, the 2 points can and always be linear, there will be definitely a line will pass through. I agree with your doubt, that is a really good doubt. Now I can solve that in the way, suppose I am having my image, right? Suppose I am having my image, in that what I'm going to consider, I'm not going to consider all the points, right? I am working in the jurisdiction of my image only. How Okay, so okay, I can explain this as this will proceed. Right now, if this information is given to you, from that what you can interpret, of course your point is correct, we will go to that, but what is image jurisdiction right now, you will not understand that. So leave that point aside. Definitely we'll come to that because it has to be understood, right? But for now, suppose this information is given to you. Based on this information, because we are not considering the whole Cartesian map, you can consider in that way. We are just considering few pixel width. Suppose I will, if I will, if I will give you uh, okay, if I will, okay, fine, but that will be too difficult to explain now. For just give me a few minutes, I will explain that in better way. But right now, if this information is given, based on that, what will be your conclusion? That will point 1 and 2 be linear? Yes, point 1 and 3 will have a common line passing through them, right? The common line passing through in the given space in that sense, right? If I will give you that that what to consider here, that um, if I say that in this much region that you have to decide that whether line passes through or not, then it will uh, okay, so it will be okay. Leave it. I will explain in better way when the point will come. Okay, so 1 3 1 4 1 3 1 4 and 2 3 and 2 4, right? Okay, and this concept you can say right now, if you right now, in other words, if you want to understand this, suppose 2 points are linear, but what if we are considering multiple points? If you are considering multiple points, then in that way, here what you can understand, how many points are passing through it. So how many points are linear here? If I give you this type of graph to you, suppose this type of graph is given to you, can you tell me in my image, how many points are such that they are passing through or they are on the line with slope A3 and B3 intercept? I will consider only the points those are existing in my image, that is my image jurisdiction. I will consider only those points which exist in my image, and that is image jurisdiction, right? So I will say that what are the lines, which are the lines that are passing through this point. So I will say the lines passing through this are given by this equation, right? Same way, I will take another pixel in my image jurisdiction. Then what will happen? I will consider all the lines passing through this pixel. Then I will consider, okay, these are the lines that are passing through this pixel because it is having its own coordinate. You can consider the pixel as a coordinate itself, right? So that process we will repeat for all the pixels. In that way, I am going to have this type of curve, right? And then I will come to know, okay, there is a one point on which four lines are intersecting. Four lines are intersecting on, and that value is particularly say A3 and B3, right? So what is my conclusion here? That otherwise also how many lines are passing through this point A3 B3? So we can say infinite line can pass through this point A3 B3, but I am considering a limited duration or limited area of my image that I will call as image jurisdiction, so that I will just consider only those pixels that are identified as edges in my image. Okay, so what will be this use of this example particularly for 2 points? It might not be that much useful because as we know, for 2 points, 2 points are always linear, but we are going to use them for the multiple pixels. Those are on single line that are on edge, right? So of course I will explain you this concept when it will come. But the point is, even though what will be my conclusion, that in my given area for my given given image, only edge pixels I am going to consider, and all those for all those edge pixels I am going to find out this type of scenario, that which lines are passing through all those edge pixels and where they intersect. And I will, if multiple curves are intersecting at one location, if are intersecting at one location, that I will identify, okay, at this slope and at this intercept, there is a line which has multiple points in my image which are on this line. Understood? So even so, here also there will be some finite points only, because I am not considering my whole image. Even I am just considering my edge points. Here my assumption is that edge is already identified, and I am going to link them. Okay, so that is what. So I hope now you are clear with the word image jurisdiction. What it is, not the infinite span, the span of my image, and in that only, not all the pixels, even only edge pixels. Rather, I should say only dominant edge pixels. Of course, as it will come, I will explain further. But that question was good. But that this limitation, so that your point was also correct. But the case is we are going to use it for um, just limited. We are going to use it for multiple points and limited duration, limited area. Okay, so fine. So I hope this point is clear to you, that if the two lines are intersecting, that means there is a common line with this particular slope and intercept, which is which exists between them. Okay. But what if, okay, so in that way it's fine. But now what if two pixels, or what if when the line that passes through my pixel or my coordinate is vertical, where to plot? If it is a vertical line, then slope will be infinite. How to plot that infinite slope on AB axis? So you will never be able to identify the vertical edge because you cannot plot it here. So you will never be able to identify all those pixels in the image. Those are on the vertical edges, right? And that is the limitation here, and that's why we cannot use this. So we have to go for another representation, that is normal representation. What is that normal representation? Normal representation is in terms of rho and theta. What is rho? Rho is distance from the origin, the perpendicular distance from the origin, from your line. And what is theta? That is angle with respect to positive x-axis. So now, suppose if I want to draw, this is my origin, and suppose this is my line, vertical line. Can you tell me what is rho and theta value? So whatever the distance here, that is my rho value, and whatever the angle with respect to positive x-axis, that is 90 degree, is my uh, uh, is my theta value. So that theta value I will substitute here, that rho value I will substitute here, and that way I am going to get the x y. This is another representation, right? You know that 90-degree value is going to give you the zero value for the cos, and hence only y is equal to some value. That is your equation of a vertical line. Then that way you are going to get your equation of a line. So this is another representation, that is normal representation. Same way, if I represent, this is my origin. If I represent my line, horizontal line, so this will be my rho value and theta value will be 0, right? Whenever it will pass through origin, what will be my rho value? If it will pass through origin, rho value is from a distance from origin. When it passes through origin, rho value is always 0, right? So that you can see here. This is origin. Theta is 0 because line is horizontal. Theta is 90 because line is vertical. And theta is minus 90 because line is vertical, but angle, either you have to consider 270 or you have to consider 90-degree, right? So in that way, minus 90 is your angle with respect to positive x-axis. So now what will happen? Now what I have to change? I have to do like so now earlier what I was doing for ax plus b representation. What we were doing, ax plus b is equal to y representation. What we are doing now? We were doing this x and y. We are keeping them constant. We were keeping them constant, and we were varying this. The same thing so that we were getting different lines with different slope and intercept, which were passing through this xy point fixed. The same exercise we will repeat here. We will keep this constant, whichever pixel or whichever edge point that I want, that coordinate I am going to keep constant, and I will change different theta value, corresponding rho value I am going to get, and I am going to plot it for different theta value and given fixed xi yi value. If I plot, it looks like this. Instead of looking like equation of a line, it is just going to give you the sinusoidal shape. So what is the meaning of this? That if my xi yi is constant, then this rho and this theta value, this rho and this theta value, if I substitute here, whatever equation I will get, that line passes through point xi yi. Same way, this theta and this rho value, if I will draw equation with that rho and theta, if I write that equation with that rho and theta, that equation that will pass through this point xi y. That is the meaning. Same way, if two points are intersecting here, what is the meaning of that? That there is a common line between them. There is a common line between them, which is having rho dash value and theta dash value. Uh, if I substitute that rho dash and theta dash value here, and whatever equation of line will be, that x plus y form will be there, x plus y is equal to something form will be there, because theta and rho value are substituting here. That equation, that line passes through xj yj as well as xi yi. Okay, so this is the same point, same thing that we are having here. So as we can see, three points are linear, so there is a common line that passes through those three lines. I mean, there is a common line that passes through the 3 points. Okay, and so that's fine. This equation is the same. So okay, so there is a signal line that passes through them. That's why if I will draw a curve, if I will draw a curve for all the lines passing through this, for all the curve passing through this, and all the lines passing through this curve for that, then so this is that one curve for point 1, say this is for point 2, and this is curve for point 3, and they will intersect at a point, and that point, the angle is 60, and its rho value is around 80. So so that you can see, so that point is this. So this line is actually passing through all of them. this point, this line is passing through all of them. Okay. So, so that is what the point is. That is what we concluded, that what I have to do now. So, what is the concept now? What is the concept now? Okay, let us first complete about accumulator cell, and then we will go to the exact concept. We will revise this entire thing, and we will reach to conclusions. Now, I need accumulator cell, right? So, actually, here what I had, that here I was plotting on the continuous cell, I continuous axis, right? Like 30, 0, 0.001, 0.0, all the values are existing here, right? But it is not possible to store all such values in one point. So what I have to do, I have to discretize this. That means I will take the reading at 0, then I will take reading at 10. That means then I will take reading at then I will take reading at 20. Then I will take reading at 30, so on, right? So I will not take all the readings for theta. I will suppose I am taking from suppose I am taking at the gap of 1 degree, then I will take the reading at 0 degree, then 1 degree, then 2 degree, but I cannot take 0.001 and all such readings, right? So I will take limited readings here, and corresponding values I am going to find out. So what I will do, suppose I want to find out curve for, suppose I want to find out curve for this point. I want to find out curve for this point, right? So I know its xi yi value, its coordinates are known to me, right? So that xi yi value I will substitute in this equation. That was here also, yes, here. So I will substitute that xi yi value because I know my point coordinate. Then I will take theta to 0 degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, and a corresponding row I am going to get. And I know that row is also continuous. Row also will be having various values. So what I'm making one array. You can assume that I'm making one array, right? For the given xi yi. So you will keep this array is for xi yi. Right? So I'm suppose I'm keeping this first values. I am keeping this center value, or rather I should say, uh, this is my this line is corresponding to this cell. So what I will do, I will make this array little different way. How it is different, I can show you. What I will say, that this entire row uh, is for my theta value 0, right? This entire row is for my theta value 1, right? Then this entire row is for my theta value 2, so on. Right? If you don't want to consider it, then you can, okay, fine, 1 2 3 up to 90. I am going from 0 to 90 degree on this side, and 0 to minus 90 degree on this side, right? So you can assume here 90 cells on this side, 90 cells on this side. Okay, why 90 degree? That is the remaining question that we will see. You will understand it automatically. Now, so what I did, I have my xi yi fixed value here. I substituted. Then I substituted value theta 0, right? Then whatever value I will obtain for row. Okay, suppose I am obtaining that value of row as. I can show you that too. Suppose I am obtaining row value say 2.2. But I can somewhere, suppose next theta value, if I am substituting 1, it will be 2.12, whatever. Right? It can be like this. It can be any value of row, because I am having any value of, it is not having any restriction on row value right now. Then I will, because I cannot store it here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quantize those values of row. What is the meaning of that? That if my value is from in the range of 0 to 1, then I'm going to consider it in this row. Right? Or rather, I should say, if it is in the range of 0 to 1, I will consider it as 0.5, that is quantization. I will consider it as a 0.5, and 0.5 corresponds to this one. Right? Then or so is that what type of quantization you do, that is your choice, right? Suppose now my value is set 2.2, so here I will consider 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, right? So my value falls in the range of 2 to 3, right? And it is for angle 0, so I will mark this as 1. I will mark this as 1, right? What is the meaning of that? That it is in the range from 2 to 3, or you can consider it as 2.54 if you are rounding it off, because you are losing information anyway if you are quantizing it, right? So you are going to mark it as 1, right? Then I will take theta is equal to 1. I'm going to take theta is equal to 1. It is 2.312. Then again I am going to mark it for theta is equal to 1. It is 2.312, right? Then further, if I'm going for theta is theta 2, theta value 2, then whatever the value is, say it is 1.543. It is like this. So it is in the range of 1 to 2, and I'm going to mark it here. Then it is further, it is, suppose it is marked here. Then further it is marked here, right? Then it is marked here. It is marked here. It is marked here, right? So this type of shape, if you will see, it is a kind of sinusoidal shape, right? And it was expected this type of sinusoidal shape. If you will think that it is the same type of shape, it was expected this type of shape. What it is, that for different values of theta, different rho values I am going to obtain, but it is not possible to draw them. Actually, I should draw them in the continuous axis. But if I cannot draw them, then I am going to make a cell like this, in which I am going to put the discrete values, and in that way, if I will point out them, it will look like this only. It will look like a sinusoidal shape only. The same exercise I will repeat for, say, xj, yj. So what I will do, I will keep it constant, xj, yj, right? And then I will take different values of theta. What is the permissible range for theta? So I will say minus 90 to plus 90 with the increment of 1. So I will take minus 90-degree value, then I will take minus 89-degree value, then I will take minus 88-degree value, and I will find out different rho values. For the different rho values, I will see where it falls, and wherever it falls, I am going to mark that point as 1. Right? So this is the concept of accumulator cell. Right? Suppose I am doing for a suppose I'm doing it for J, and the shape is like this, somewhat like this. The shape is like this, right? So here, what will be the accumulator cell value? Because the accumulator cell here will be 1, here accumulator cell will be 1, here accumulator cell will be 1, here also accumulator cell will be 1, but already it was 1 because of the previous xi, yi. So because it is accumulating, it is adding itself. So what will be the value here? The value here will be 2, right? In that way, I am going to create my accumulator cell. The accumulator cell will have value 2 here. What is the meaning of that? With this particular theta value and with this particular rho value, there is a line passing through this pixel. Now you may say, okay, but it is possible and that we are missing those lines. Yes, we are missing. If you can, but this is a tentative idea that you want to take from here. If you want to take it exact value, then you can have, instead of having the range from 1 to 2, you can have 1.5, 0.2. In that way also you can have the range of rho. Right? But actually that will not matter us much, because our pixel, because this is the distance from origin. The distance from origin in our case will be in terms of pixel. Suppose this is my origin pixel, then if this pixel will be just 1 pixel away, that's why it will not matter us much. Like if I want to find out distance from my origin of this pixel, then it will be just 2 pixel away. You cannot go 1.2 pixel away, right? My this pixel can be part of edge, then it is how much far from origin? That it is 2 pixel, 2 units away. So our distance will be almost in, most of the time in terms of pixels and so that's why this will not harm us much. But anyway, if you want to, some loss will be there. Which kind of loss? That also we will see. So that loss, if you want to avoid, and here also you can understand some loss can be there. If you want to avoid that loss, what to do? You can have this quantization better. You can take values from 0, 0.1, 0.2 for those theta also. But accumulator cell size will be larger accordingly. Okay, so now let us see. So that is the concept of accumulator cell. Quantize theta axis, quantize rho axis, right? your row is also limited because of your, this is image jurisdiction, that your image length from minus d to plus d, your row value will be limited because my image size is fixed, it is not infinite. Same way my theta value, my theta value, see, suppose when I say uh, this is my origin, right? Whenever I say this is my origin, most of the time the my lines can be like my lines will be like what, so what I'm considering here, my theta value or my what my theta value is, say my theta value is 92, I am considering my theta value minus 90 degree, and I am considering my image size from minus d to plus d, that is the distance. Okay, so so this, in short, what exactly this d and minus d, that also we will see, but this limited to the image size, and also this theta is also limited to image, the possibilities in the image, right? So right now we are considering it as minus 90 to plus 90, and then we are considering the image size minus d to plus d. What exactly minus 90 plus 90 minus d plus d will come soon. So what I did, so for image one, sorry, for point one, this is the curve, and what it says that this should be my accumulator cell should be one here. Same with this curve also says that this value should be, this value should be 1. So here it is accumulating cell, that's why it will accumulate and make it 2. And when this accumulator cell value is 2, what is the meaning of that? Two curves are intersecting with each other here. That is the meaning. And what is the meaning of two curves are intersecting? That means 2 points are on the line whose rho value and theta value can be given by this cell, whatever the cell is corresponding to. So that value can be given by that. So this is for the 0, this is for theta 1. So it is that theta 1, and the range is rho 1 to rho 2. Okay, suppose if I someone will say, okay, there is accumulator cell with value 5 and accumulator cell with value 7. Okay, which one is more dominant age? What is the meaning of that? In my image, there are 5 pixels which are on the line whose dimensions are given by theta 1 and this row. And there is one another image, of one another line with this dimension of rho and theta having 7 pixels on it in my image. Which age is dominant here? So I will say the more pixels on the image, that line is dominant. More pixels are that, that means it is involving more pixels of the edges, right? That's why it is a dominant line. Okay, so that we can understand here in the better way. This is the example. In that example, I am having 5 points. This point 1, this is point 2, this is point 3, point 4, and point 5. The size of this is size of our image is 101 cross 101, right? So from this pixel to this pixel, the distance is 101 pixel, and from this to this, it is again 101 pixel. Okay. So what we did, we keep it constant, right? Then we took different values of theta, right? So different values of theta, and corresponding to that, row values were identified, and curvature was plotted. So that curve looked like this. The same thing was repeated for 2, and the curve looked like this. Right? Same thing for 3, 4, 4, and 5. So what we did? This is actually your accumulator cell. Here the angle, the theta is taken at 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 90. Same way the separation is taken as 1 degree. So 0, 1, 2, 3 up to minus 90. So each cell is corresponding to, the first cell is corresponding, this center is corresponding to say 0 degree, the next line is corresponding to 1 degree, so on. So your accumulator cell has the angle separation at 1 degree. Same way here, Also, it is the gap is taken as 1 degree. I mean, one unit distance or 1 pixel distance. So 0 pixel distance from origin, 1 pixel distance from origin, 2 pixel distance from origin, same way 50 pixel distance from origin, right? So you can assume this as a rectangle where here also I can show you it is already ready with us. So this line, if there is a 1 on this line, that corresponds to 0 degree. If this corresponds to theta 1, this corresponds to theta 2, same way this corresponds to say 0, then this is for 1, this is for 2. So if your row is well having value 1 pixel from the origin, then it is plotted here. It has having distance 2 from the origin, then it is plotted here, right? And if it is not having exact that distance, then it is rounded off wherever it is, wherever nearest integer it is having, then that integer it will be considered 2. So that is what how the quantization is taken, right? Okay. Now tell me about point A. Tell me about point A. How many points points are intersecting at point A? How many curves are intersecting? So we can say actually curve with value 1, curve with curve of 3, and curve of 5 are intersecting. That means it is indicating about this line. Why? Because what it indicates that there is a line that exists on which there is point 1, 3, and 5. The 1, 3, and 5 points are there on a single line, and whose dimensions are given by this. What is that? It is minus 45 theta value and 0 as your row value. So here, if you will see here, so what is that 1, 3, and 5? What is the angle? What is the row value here? So row value, you can say for consider, if you are considering point 1, right? So we are considering it is passing through origin. Here you can say it is passing through origin, and hence it is having 0 distance from origin. And what is the angle from the positive x-axis? So angle you should not consider of a line. You should consider perpendicular to a line. You see, what we consider the angle not from the line. I have not considered like how much angle the line was making from x-axis. I considered that what the perpendicular from the origin makes what angle from from my positive x-axis. So in that way, if you will see, you can see it here. That angle, if you will see it in that way, you have to this line. If I will shift it here, right? So that angle will be 45. This angle is 45 actually. The perpendicular, if some imaginary perpendicular is drawn, then angle will be 45, minus 45, right? But row value is 0. That's why this will come here. If row value would have non-zero, then angle would be minus 45 only, right? Here angle is still minus 45, but row value is 0. That's why it is passing through origin, right? Same way about point B, it indicates which line. So it indicates the line. It indicates that there is a common line passing through point 2, 3, and 4. Point 2, 3, and 4. There is a common line passing through. And what are the dimensions of it? Dimensions are 45 degree, positive 45 degree, and row value is, what is the row value? The row value is around 70. You can say it is around 70, right? So okay, fine. Let us consider for B. I can explain that for once again. That point, we will go to that point. For point B, let us discuss for point B. So if it is not clear after this also, because that point A should not be taken immediately. But anyway, forget about point A. We will go to that point. Point B, 2, 3, and 4. There is what it indicates. Point B indicates 2, 3, and 4 are passing through. There is a line passing through 2, 3, and 4, right? So it is this line. What are the particulars of this line? So we can say this is my line. I will draw. The perpendicular from my origin, and whatever angle that perpendicular will make with my with my this line, that slope will be considered. Actually, if you will see, this is nothing but it is indicating this slope. It is this slope only, na? Right? So, so what we did here, from origin we draw a perpendicular line and we check its angle, and it was by positive x-axis. With respect to that, it was positive. It was positive 45, and that I plotted here. And what is rho value? Rho value is non-zero here. Rho value is non-zero here, right? And that rho value is what will be. So I know this is my 101. This is my 101. So totally, what will be this? It will be 101 square plus 101 square and square root of it, and that is Pythagoras, and half of that will be square root of 101 square plus 101 square by 2. That will be around 71. That will be around 71. So that's why it is 70 here. How to obtain this total length? 101 square plus 101 square, square root of it, and divide by 2. Now I am coming back to Priyal's question. What was that? Let's go again. Let's do that. So for better understanding, we can go with that. Okay. Suppose I consider this line, right? Instead, if I say in my image there is a point here, and there is a point somewhere here, right? There will be a line passing through it. There will be a line passing through it, right? There will be line passing through it, right? What is its slope? How will you find out what is its slope, or how will you find out theta corresponding to this line? It is possible that there in my image there are 2 points. So how will you find theta here? How will you find theta here? So what you will do? What you will do? So angle. How will I consider the angle here? So what I have to consider, that this is my origin. Okay, this is my where was that? Okay, here this is my origin, right? This is my origin and this is my line. I have to draw perpendicular from that. Can I draw perpendicular here? Definitely not. I have to draw perpendicular somewhere here, right? That will match it. So whatever angle it will be, that angle we are going to consider. We are just considering the angle here, right? So my angle range from the origin is given from -90 to +90 degree. So my angle can go from -90 to +90. Otherwise, how will you find out the slope here? Or what you can do, so that's why for this angle, my rho value will vary from in this range only. My rho value will vary from in this range only. And my angle value, because I have to consider this type of slopes as well, I cannot just consider this line. If I want to consider this line, then I need to draw a perpendicular on those type of lines. How will I draw? I will need to go in the negative angles. Priyal, is it making sense to you? Should I repeat with a better example? Okay, so okay, so that's why that was the negative angle we have to consider. We have to go beyond the origin. Then and only then -90 degree we will be able to consider. Okay, same way, if I'm going for the point, what we can consider, we can go with uh, say this point, where other two are intersecting, and we can choose any two such point. This point, you can say. It is corresponding to which line? It is corresponding to point 2 and point 1. So they are. It is corresponding to this line, and sorry, 1 and 2. No? So it is corresponding to this line, and as expected, it is passing through origin. That's why distance is 0. And what is the angle? Angle, it is horizontal. That's why. Okay, if it is horizontal, how will we decide the angle? The angle will be 0 itself. That's why it is having angle 0, and it is having value also 0. That's why this 1, 2 is a horizontal line passing through origin. But 4, 5 is what? 4, 5 is horizontal line. That's why angle will be 0 anyway. Angle will be 0 anyway. But the distance will be 101. So you can say where 4, 5 intersect. So you can say 4 is this, and where is 5? So 5 is this. So 4, 5 intersect here. This is 4, 5. This is how 4, 5 intersect, and they are near to 100, 101 actually. And what you can say, the angle is 0. The angle will be 0. As expected, it is horizontal line, so angle will be 0, and they are intersecting at 101. But definitely I have drawn not proper one, but it will be at 101 for sure. Whatever the dimension is here, the dimension is 101 cross 101. That's why it is at 101. Okay, so that's all about this, all the points, right? So for 1225 we did for 12, and if you want to do for 25, so what is expected at around distance 100 or 101 exactly, if you go with precise, then angle will be 90. Why? Because it is a vertical line, the angle will be 90 degree from the origin, right? So what is the concept here? So I will give you the we will repeat the concept here. uh, See, so what we will do, we will take the binary image. First of all, we will take age image. So in my image I will identify all the points with ages. I will identify all the points with ages, prominent ages. How to identify? So you can use Laplacian, you can use gradient, you can use any of them, any of uh, such methods to identify age points. So now they are binary. If you remember, the background is black, the foreground is white, right? So in that way, I am going to identify all the age points, right? But possibly they will have the breaks here. So what I will identify, that the prominent ages or dominant ages we have to identify. So what to do? For that, we will build the accumulator cell for this. And I know that for the prominent ages, the accumulator cell is going to be having very high values, 77 or we can say 700 pixels, even if it is in thousands. So many pixels you may have for the particular accumulator cell, which will indicate these are the dominant ages. So what we will do? So first we will identify the ages, then we will have subdivisions of rho theta plane, that I have to decide what will be my quantization, how much I can tolerate. I have to go for the discrimination of 1 degree, 2 degree, or I have to take jump of 5 degrees, or same way for the rho. So I will decide the subdivision of the rho theta plane. That is totally up to you, right? Then we will make this type of that cell. We will make accumulator cell, and we will identify the principal ages we will identify. And suppose I decide that, okay, this is my principal age and this is my principal age. Suppose I decide that these two are my principal age, then I will scan through this entire uh, dominant age, and then I will fill all the gaps between this dominant age. And if of course I will keep a threshold that the gap between two pixels on the dominant edges also should not exceed the threshold. But here the probability will be less that the gap will get, because this is the dominant edge, so gap will be the actual gap of actual gap in the edge, but mostly it is because of noise and the occlusions. Okay, so that is how the continuity is checked. If the gap is less than a specified threshold, you fill it. Okay, so that can be further understood by this example, where I want to strengthen this runway of the one runway is required to be uh, we want to, what you can say here, we want to check the edges of the runway, or I want to make the runway very clear, or I want to sharpen the runway, right? So for that, what is the first step? First step is to identify the edges from any of this method. Here Kenny edge detector is used. You can use Laplace gradient, whatever is suitable to you. So Kenny method is used, then Hopf transform is applied, and you can see this is the Hopf transform, right? This is a Hopf transform, and it is expected that multiple points are there. So all the curves are intersecting multiple curves. You can see that's why this is so thick, and it was expected. Each curve is indicating the lines passing through. Each curve is indicating the lines passing through each point. You can see multiple points are here. That's why multiple curves are expected here, right? But I know that it is a runway. I have taken the image from the satellite, and runway is going to be pointed over north side, and it will look like vertical, because when you take the image from the satellite, you know that how north direction, south direction will look like. So that is global information known to me. I told you earlier that we will need some global information about the image. The global information known to me is that the runway which I want is pointed toward north side, and that's why it will look like a vertical in my image. That is known information to me. And then what I did, I applied the K-means detection, and then now my binary image is ready with me. Then I apply Huff transform, and this type of accumulator cell is ready with me, as we had a smaller accumulator cell for earlier examples. So small, this was smaller accumulator cell, but there were just 5 points. If I'm having multiple points, this is going to look like a thick one, right? Such thick accumulator cell will look like. Then I will examine its count, but I will not examine all the counts. I will just examine the counts for -90° and +90°, because I want to strengthen my vertical lines, and I know for vertical lines the angles are going to be +90 and -90°, right? So so I will check just +90 and -90° angles. So vertical lines I know here, and then I will identify which accumulator cell is having prominent count. What is the meaning of that? That rho and theta value, suppose it is this, that particular rho and theta value, with that particular rho and theta value, the line is dominant edge because it is having more pixels over it. That means it is possible that it is my runway, because that is also known to me. In my image, the runway will be the longest line possible. That is again known information, very common information. It will not be like weather dependent, or it will not be the noise dependent. That is how your setup is adjusted. That is how your satellite is adjusted, right? So in that way, the lines are identified, the gaps are filled, the gaps with less than thresholds are filled, and those are added to those lines are added to your original image, and that's how your runway is. Uh, I mean, it is now sharp runway, or it is clean boundary it is having now. So this is how Hopf transform can be implemented. Okay, any doubts so far? Okay, fine. So we will discuss further on other topics in the next lecture.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible properly? Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible properly? Please reply. Priyal, now my voice is audible? Hello, Priyal. Now my voice is audible to you? Okay. So now my voice is clear. So let's start with our new lab. Now listen everyone, today's lab aim is database handling in Prolog. Database handling in Prolog. I will share my screen. Just wait. Sorry. Hello, my screen is visible properly, everyone? Hello, my screen is visible properly. Please reply. Then after we start with our lab session. Okay, Jainik. Thank you. Okay, so listen everyone. Today's aim is database handling in Prolog. There are two types of database. All of you know that static database and dynamic database. So what is static database? A static database is a part of a program that is compiled. See this lab number 8 I have not uploaded. Okay, once it's finished I will upload it. Okay, so then after you can get that particular lab. In both Moodle as well as Drive, I will share that particular lab. So static database is a part of a program that is compiled along with it. It does not change during the execution of the program. All of you know that what is static database. And the another is a dynamic database. The dynamic database can change dynamically at execution time and are of two types. Type 1, that is created at each execution, it grows, shrinks, and deleted at the end of the program. And this type of database is no longer available after the program finishes its execution, and it is known as a working memory. Now listen, once I show the program, at that time I will explain you how the in working memory the how execution is done. So right now remember, type 1, that is it created at its execution, it grows, syncs, and it deleted at the end of the program. And this type of database is no longer available after the program finishes its execution and is called working memory. The other type of dynamic database are those which are stored in a file and called a database file. So here, see, like similar to the different programming language, similar to a database. See here, now the all the operation I will explain you like insert, deleting, all the operation we can perform, right? But here the somewhat syntax is different in a Prolog. So here you can say that in dynamic database, these are consulted in any program whenever required. This type of databases are not a part of any particular program and are available for use in the future by different programs using a system defined predicate called save and consult. Now, while executing the Prolog program, load the database file using the consult predicate. Remember how to load the database file. So if you want to load a database file, so for that you have to use the consult predicate, CONSULT, consult predicate. And these files can be updated dynamically at runtime and saved using the save predicate. Means for save, you have to use save predicate. If you want to load the database file, then consult predicate is used. So right, so this predicates that you have to remember for program everyone. Now, so here this is the syntax save, and then you have to give the file name. Okay, that succeed after saving the content of file name, file name, the consult, and then in bracket you have to give the file name. It succeeds after loading or adding all the clauses from the file stored in a file name in the current program being executed, right? So the next is clauses can be added to the database at runtime using the predicate. So here you can say that assert A and assert Z. So see, the for inserting, either you can use assert A or you can assert Z. But see, when you use assert A, then it adding the fact at the beginning of the database. And when you use assert Z, then it add at the end of the database. Okay. Similarly, the obsolete clauses can be deleted by using the system-defined predicate called retract from the dynamic database at runtime. Okay, so for that retract is used. So again, I repeat, if you want to load the database file, then consent predicate is used. For saving the file, save predicate is used. Just you have to save and then you have to write the file name. Now, similarly, for inserting, either you use assert A or assert Z. When you use assert A, means it add the fact at the beginning of the database, and when you use assert Z, means it add the fact at the end of the database. Okay, and the last that is retract for deleting as well as for retrieving the data, both the purpose we are using retract. Okay, so when you see the program, you can understand everyone. Up to this clear everyone? Anyone have a doubt? Hello? Anyone have a doubt? See, I will show you each and every. Sorry. Just a minute. Before I show you, just I'm deleting the data from my file. So it's very easy for me to explain you. Just wait. Just wait, everyone. Thereafter, I will explain you. First, I am emptying my file. It's very easy for me to explain you. Will not delete. Now my file is empty. Okay. So listen, everyone. See this PDF. See, up till now, in a Prolog program, the three sections, up till now, you have three sections you study. That is domains, predicates, and clauses, right? The three sections you have used, right? Now, in the first lab, I have explained mainly there are four. In the lab number one, I have explained there are mainly four Prolog program sections: domains, predicates, clauses, and the last one that is database. At that time, I told you that the database is right now optional, but now onwards you have to use the database section, right? So in domains, all of you know why we are using domain portion. So here I am declaring the variable with its type, then the database. So here I have mentioned the result is my database file name. In that, which are the arguments are name, subject, and marks. So in this way, you have to create the database, everyone. The predicates here I have declared. Now see here, the first program that is given, that is right one. So here, see here, I am not consulting any file. It's a simple basic program where in this case, what happened, in write one, so here I have written readln. Readln means all of you know that readln means if you want to read a string from the user, then you have to use the readln. If you want to read any integer data from the user, then you have to use read integer, right? So that's things I have explained in the earlier lab. So first you have to get the data, right? You have to read the data from the user for name, subject, and marks. and then after assert A is used. So what it will do? So here the database here name is what file here the it will store in this way result in bracket the arguments are name subject and marks. So that means it will add this particular fact in the database, and when you use assert A means it add the fact at the beginning of the database, right? Instead of that, because here right now only one data is there. Now if you are if you are inserting the another data, so it will add at the beginning of the database because you are using assert A, right? In implementation you can understand. Thereafter, the another is a read one. Read one means here retract I am using, means I am retracting the data. I am retracting the data from the database, and after retracting it, what you have to do, just you have to display it. So write whatever the name, so that you have to write, so it will display. And why here we are writing fail? So here we are writing fail because see, suppose let's say in my database, five data are there. So when first time I am retract, I am using retract, so it will retract what the first data everyone. Now because of fail, what the backtracking is done. Now it will get all the data until the database is empty. So that's why here you have to use fail means for forcing the backtracking. Up to this clear everyone? Anyone have a doubt? Hello? Up to this clear everyone? Anyone have a doubt? Am I audible properly? Hello? Am I audible properly? Jainik? Priyal? Okay. See here one output is given. Initially when I write read one, but nothing is there. That's why it will show you no. Then after if I write something two times I have written, and after that if I use read, so it will show you. So first I write Apurva, then after suppose I have write Jatayu. So now here in this case what happened? So why it will show in this way? Because here I am using assert A. So when you are using assert A, so in database what happened? The it add the fact at the beginning of the database. So first I inserted this data, and then after next, so it will add at the beginning of the database. So that's why it will show you the result like this when you use read one everyone. Okay. Now again I use read one. So at that time it will show me no. But see what the reason that I will tell you in the see the example number 2. In that case I will explain you everyone. Now see here the same program is there, but see here with some modification that program is written. Okay. Now here in this case what happened? The open one is one rule where I have written the consult means the file name is result.txt. That means here in this case what you have to do everyone. So in your Prolog program, in your Prolog folder, you have to create the result.txt file, the result.txt file that you have to create in your Prolog folder. Okay. Now if I want to if I want to save something in a database, if I want to retrieve the data, so here means what is consult means here if you want to load the file, if you want to load the file, see first thing that I have discussed, that is if you want to load a file, so for that what here you can say that load the database file, for that consult predicate is used. So now here in this case, when I use open one means it will load the database file from the data. It will load the database file that result.txt. Now then after when I write one, so write one the meaning is write one I have used for inserting the data. First I explain you, and then after I am implementing it so you can understand everyone. Okay, first listen. I will explain this program, and then after we will perform. So here in a write what happened, first it all read all the data from the user and then use assert A. That means the particular fact, that is this particular fact that is inserted into a database, and after using assert A, when you insert, after that you have to write save predicate, right? So now your data is saved in the database. Okay, now then after read one, so means here the read one rule I have used means if you want to retrieve the data from the database, so for that you have to use what retract command. Retract command means it retrieve all the data from the database. But here compulsory you have to write fail, right? All of you know, because if you are not using fail, then it will only fetch the one first record from the database. If you want to read all the data from the database, then you have to use fail, because fail forces the backtracking. Okay, and then here in delete, here what I have mentioned, after retracting means here I am passing x. X means here you can say that for which particular data you want to retract, and then after I am using save, so it works as a here the particular data is deleted, everyone. Now then after, here the two variation of update I have written. See, either of them you can use, but the first update, in that what I have done, okay, that means I am using, suppose here I am entering name, subject and marks. Okay, so here I am asking the user for which particular name means you want to update. Okay, so that particular name value I am passing over here, and once you get this x value, then what you have to do for particular that x, it will means for that particular name, it will retrieve the data from the database, right? And after retrieving the data from the database, what it will do now, once it is retract, now then after what happened, so now here the read lny and read integer z. So here what it will do now, here the for that particular data, again it will ask the user to enter the value of subject and marks, and whatever the new data you are inserting, now that data is again I am using assert, means now my new data is inserted into the database, and after that you have to use save predicate, everyone. Now in a update 2, the second variation, see here in this case, I am asking the user to enter the value, but here in the second update, just I am passing the value, just I am passing the value, and then the similar to the above thing, but here I am asking and here I am passing the value. So these are the two differences there. Hello, up to this clear, everyone? Can I show you the program? Hello? Any doubt up to this, everyone? Can I explain you? Can I show you the program? Nemish, Priyal, Jainik. Okay. So now I will show you the program. So you have a more idea. Okay, everyone. So this program, once you have a doubt, then please ask me, everyone. Okay, listen, everyone. This screen is visible, or can I enlarge it? Hello, this screen is visible. Okay. Okay, so listen, everyone. So here what I am trying to do. See, right now, what I have done that I want to show you. So this is my prologue folder. In D drive, prologue is there. So here one file I have created, that is result.txt. So right now my file is empty. Right now my file is empty. Okay. Now and remember, when you perform the operation at that time, please close your file. Okay. So now all of you know the open one here I have used. for load the file from the database. Load the file from the database. For that, I have used open one. The write one I have used for inserting the data. Read I have used for retrieving the data from the database. Then update for updating the data and delete for deleting the data. Okay, so this operation I have done. So one by one, all the operation I will show you. So now initially, first I am compiling it. Sorry. Then after I am opening the file. So now when I open the files, it will show me here what it means. So that means load the file into the database. So here means if you want to consult a file, if you want to refer to a file, so for that you have to use what? Consult command. Consult result.txt. Now after, now see all of you know the code, right? I think see in parallel I will also show this code, so it's clear to you everyone. Code is visible. Hello, both the screen are visible, everyone. Okay. Okay, now listen. So first I have used open command means it will consult that file result.txt. Okay, now then after I am using write. So initially there is no data. So I am inserting few data everyone. So for that what I have to use write one. Write one means that the rule name is write one. So I am using write one. So it will ask me to enter the data. So here see read ln name, subject and marks is given. So three data I have to enter. So name is let's say Mike. The subject is DBMS. Marks is 31. Now the first record is inserted. Then after I will show the all the data are inserted. Then after second again I am writing. Let's say another record I am inserting, that is John DSA. All are getting good marks. Then the third record I am inserting, that is Flint, study AI subject, got 30 marks. Then again I am using the right one. So four data I am inserting for clearing this approach. CC subject, and then in that 32 marks. Okay, so these means four data are inserted in my database. I will show you so you can understand everyone. Now I am opening my result.txt. You can see that, see, first I have inserted my data. Now because of SRT, what the SRT, it add the fact at the beginning of the database. Then I have inserted John. Then I have inserted print, and then I have inserted Diana. Right. So this four record that I have inserted everyone. Hello, up to this clear everyone? Okay, now see after using write, now I am using read one. I am using read one. So see here it will show all four records, Mike, John, Flint and Diana. All four record it will show you. Now listen, here in a read one, I have used retract. So one thing I want to tell you that is when we perform a read close, it use the retract that will remove the data from the working memory. Say listen, actually what happened? When you use open means when you use consult command, so what happened? The file it will load the database file. Now after that, when you use read, so at that time what happened? It the retract that will remove the data from the working memory. So because see with the help of when you use read, so actually what happened? All the data are stored in a working memory. All the data are stored in a working memory, and because of this retract, that will remove the retract command that will remove the data once you use the read close. So actually the data stored in a working memory. So the retract command will remove the data from the working memory and reset the pointer to the initial position. Again I repeat, when we use the read close, it use the retract that will remove the data from the working memory and reset the pointer to the initial position. Okay, so here when I use read one, listen, when I use read one, so retract what it will do. So see, actually the data are stored in a working memory. So whatever the data, when I use read one, so it will retrieve all the data from the database, everyone, right? And now here it is stored in a working memory, in a prolog working memory. And what the retract will do? So after showing the data, the retract command that remove the data from the working memory and reset the pointer to the initial position. So remember, when you use read one, so it will remove the data from the working memory. It will not remove the data from the database. See, I will show you so you can understand. See, here I have used read one, so it will not remove the data from the database, but see, it will remove the data from the prolog working memory. That you have to remember, keep in mind. Now, then after, see, again I am, let's say, again I am using read one. Again I am using read one. So here it will show me no. Now, can anyone reply me why it will show you no? Hello, hello everyone. My question is, see, after writing, when I use read one, so it will show me all the records. But after that, again, why when I use read one, it will show me no. Why? Why it will show me no answer? Can anyone give me the answer in chat? Or you can also unmute. Can anyone reply me? Hello, Priyal, Ansuman, Parth, Prijesh, Kinjal. Can anyone reply me? Yes. So here, remember that in a previous case, what happened? The previously we have used the read, so it used the retract that will remove the data from the working memory and reset the pointer to a initial position. Now there are no data in the working memory, and that's why again when I read, it will show me the answer no. Okay. So now if I want to read the data again, then what I have to do? Can anyone tell me? See here, after reading, when I again read it, so at that time it will not show me. Yes, yes, Priyal, you are right. So now again I want to read the data. Then what you have to do? Again you have to use open one, right? And then after you have to use read one. So then it will show me all the data. So all of you clear up to this? Hello? All of you clear? Okay. Now the another thing that I want to show you that is, sorry. Okay. Now see in the same continuation. Okay. Now here I have used what before this goal I have used read one command. Okay, I have used read one command. Now after I use write one command, after I use write one command, then okay. Now listen everyone, approve this. All of you know that when I use read one, it will show me the 4 records. Okay. Now after this read one, now I am using write one. So I have inserted one another record. Okay. Now after this step, now when I am using read one, then can anyone tell me what will be the result? See, after this step, now I am using read one. So can anyone tell me what will be the result? Then after I explain you. Yes, real. You are right. Only one record is there. Right. So what's the reason? Priya, can you unmute? Can you unmute your mic? Priya, can you explain what happened? Priya, any other? Okay. Any other student? Can you reply me? What will be the result? After the read, when I use write, then what will be the result? Ansuman, Nimisha, can anyone reply me? Kashyap, see, I am waiting for your answer. Please try and tell me the answer. Okay, so listen everyone. So after the read, when I write, so when you use read, so what happens? It use the redirect that will remove the data from the working memory and reset the pointer to a initial position, right? So after the read, when I perform write operation immediately, then what happens? It will overwrite the data of the database based on the data available in a working memory, right? Here it will, that's why it will show you only one record. So now after that, see, when I read it, so when I read it, it will show me only one record, right? Anyone ever doubt up to this? See everyone, the result in database file. Sorry. Hello, am I audible properly? Hello. Okay. Okay, now listen. After that, I am using open one. Now, why I am using open one? Now I think all are clear. Okay. Now then after I am inserting some more data. So let's say Martha. Next, the first record that I have inserted. Then after another record I am inserting, that is the first one is Joy. Then after it will store Martha, right? Then Kevin. Okay. Now listen here. After this after this, see the result, everyone. First it will store Joy, then Martha, and then it will store Kevin. Now, suppose let's say the next operation that I want to show you, that is I want to update the data of Martha. So where I want to change the value of marks, means where I want means I want to change the marks of Martha instead of 33, I want to change 35. Let's say. So suppose I am inserting the data. Let's say update one. Okay, so here the name is as it is, Martha. The subject is also as it is, but I am changing the marks. So that is 35. Okay. So now, after changing the data, when I read it, now listen everyone, when the data is stored in a database, so at that time how it is stored? First Joy is stored, then after Martha is stored, and then after what? Kevin is stored. This is a sequence: John, Martha, and Kevin. But see, after the updating, when I read the data, right? So at that time, why it will show me Joy, Kevin, and Martha? Can anyone give me the reason? Here, listen again. I repeat. When I write the data. So at that time, all of you know the sequence. First Joy is there, then Martha is there, and then Kevin is there. Okay. So now after updating it, after the updating, when I read the data, so at that time it will show me the sequence like this: Joy, Kevin, and then after Martha. Okay. So can anyone reply me why it will show you the result like this? Hello. Can anyone reply me why it will show you the result like this? Okay. Okay, listen everyone. So here, why this thing is happened that I want to show you. So listen here, the update command is given. See here in update, what happened? The first is it asks the user to sorry. See here the marks is changed everyone, right? Now you can see the result. But see why it will show in this way that I want to tell you. See, actually what happened when you update, so here in this case you are using the retract command, right? Now here, because of the here retract, when you read the data, so at that time what happened, it will, the working memory data are lost, right? When you here in update, the retract is used, and because of retract, once you get the data for particular this Martha, so at that time that data is lost from the working memory. Okay, so after that what happened, and the new data is inserted into a database. So that's why what happened when you read the data. So here in this case, first Joy and Kevin, because when you retract the data at that time, the Martha that is deleted from the working memory, and after that you are taking the another data, and then after you are using assert, and because of that, what happened? Now this data is added at the beginning, and that's why it will show you the result: Joy, Java, and Kevin. Yeah, sorry, Joy, Kevin, and Martha. In that way, it will show you the result, everyone. Okay, so here the two different cases that we have discussed. One is the update one, and another is the update two. Another is a what? Update two. So here again I have used read one, and that's why again suppose I am using the another method of update. So again I have to open one, everyone, and then I have to write update two. Then I am changing the name. Let's say I am changing the name, that is Kevin. Okay. Now okay, I'm changing it to Kevin, and then let's say I'm changing its subject name. So it asks for a data. So let's say its subject name is Tafel, and marks I am not changing it. Okay. So now when I read the data, everyone, so see the result. Again, the sequence is changed because of retract. It deleted from the working memory. Now it will show you Joy, Martha, and then Kevin. Right? So in this way, the update is done. And similarly, all of you can try for delete. Hello. All of you clear with this? All the concept, insert, update. Hello. Can anyone have a doubt? Only Priyal is giving me an answer. Only Priyal is listening my lecture. All are understood. Hello. If you are not replying me, I feel that all are understood. Okay, so I think all are clear, everyone. Now listen, see my PDF, everyone. Now see it, everyone. So another sample code is given, that is write a Prolog program for searching a student data when the name or phone number is in input. When the name or phone number is given as the input, you have to searching a student data. Now see here in this case, the program is given. This is a menu-driven program is given, right? So this program I will not explain you. See this you can understand, everyone. Here first database is created. Then after seeing this way, all the menu-driven means I think no one ever doubt in this case, because in switch case all you are doing this menu-driven. Okay, so the menu-driven program is given. In this, what you have to do, you have to when the user enter a name or a phone number, so based on that the searching the student data. Okay, so this program is given, all of you have to go through it. Okay, implement it so you can understand, and then after based on that the exercise is given. Okay, so the exercise, that is write a Prolog program to create a game like KBC using a dynamic database, and compound object use file to store the data. And another is write a Prolog program to create application like Marriage Bureau using dynamic database and compound object. Use file to store the data. Now listen, similar to the previous example, this example, student example, right? Similar way you have to in both the example, you see either you any of the example you have to do it, everyone. Not both the, any one of them you have to implement either KBC or Marriage Bureau. Okay, and here in this case, the menu-driven program you have to create, everyone. Okay, and in your journal, the student program as well as the KBC, both the program, KBC or either Marriage Bureau, any one of them you have to write. Okay, but menu-driven program you have to create, everyone, and in that all the functionality that you have to mention, like insert, update, delete, retrieve, insertion. Okay, consulting means all the operation that you have to perform. Okay, so now I think all are clear how exactly the working is done in database. So based on that, you have to refer this student database program, and similar to that program, same menu driven program. In that way, you have to perform either KBC or Marriage Bureau. I think the title is clear, everyone. Okay, so listen, everyone. I am sharing my screen. Sorry, I am uploading this PDF in Moodle as well as Google Drive. Okay, go through it and then after try it. If you have any doubt, then please ask me in chat as well as in email. You can also ask me. Okay, listen, everyone. In Drive, hello. Listen everyone, in Drive I have uploaded that PDF. Please refer to it. In Moodle now also I am uploading, but first I have uploaded in the Drive. So verify it and tell me you are getting that file or not. Hello, I have also uploaded in a Moodle. So are you getting that file everyone? Hello, and any doubt in today's concept? If you have any doubt, then please ask me. Okay, so then start doing everyone, all the programs.